like in terms of getting, being positive and moving forward?
We just have to learn from our, past mistakes and everything. Tough loss, but putting it behind us, and we're going to work harder than we ever had before. Just trying to get back on top. You know what I'm saying?
Last year when they put in Marcel Reed, that was a bit of a surprise. It seemed like now he's the guy. In preparation, you feel more confident going into this game in terms of defending him and all those things.
Yeah, last year, I feel like we didn't trust our eyes. I feel like that was the issue. I don't think it was him himself, but I feel like this time around, we have guys, from last year too that I think trust their eyes more, trust their ability, and I think we'll get the job done.
With 5 weeks left, what's something either individually or as a unit that you think that needs to be improved upon or want to improve upon before the end of the year?
I feel like we've been, our effort is there, but we can get better on a few things, like just trusting our keys and everything. But other than that, I fully trust in our guys' ability. I trust in my ability too, and we can always improve.
How do you think you can improve in terms of the dual threat quarterback and keeping the quarterback in the pocket?
We just have to do a good job inside. It starts with us, tip the spirit of defense, the D-tackle room, and, balancing the rushes and everything. Remaining firm in our gaps, and everybody else just trusting their eyes and trusting what they know, their keys, and it shouldn't even be a factor.
People are saying, okay, you got to run the table and make the playoff and so forth. Where's the balance between urgency and pressure? Too much pressure on yourself, I guess.
I wouldn't say it's any pressure, but it's definitely we have to have a better sense of urgency than we've ever had before. And I think today we kind of accomplished that. We just have to remain consistent. That's the key to all of this. Remaining consistent throughout these next few weeks, and trusting ourselves. Man, trust is a big key factor, and confidence is too. So as long as we maintain that and remain consistent, we'll get everything that we've been working for.
Yeah, man, after that first loss to Ole Miss, you guys had the bye week, had to kind of sit on it and stew for 2 weeks. You're playing a tough opponent, top 3 in the country, but does it almost make it better saying, hey, we got to put that behind us, go right back into that next battle?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a golden opportunity in front of us, so we have no choice but to put, last week behind us. Number 3 team in the country coming in, good team that we'll be able to match up against, and, we just got to do our part.
Setting the result to the side, just playing a mobile quarterback last week and then taking those same things that you've learned from that game and putting them forward this week into practice, do you feel like that's a benefit going into this game with Marcel Reed being so lethal with his legs?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a benefit. Learning firsthand, what a mobile quarterback is going to do and what it'll be like. Especially a good quarterback like Marcel Reed. He's definitely one of the most mobile we'll face in the country. So. Learning from Pavia and Vanderbilt, that'll put us ahead of the 8 ball.
At this point in the year, what have you've been knowing Kyle Williams for a long time, but what are you taking away from him as your positions coach right now?
And, the same thing I've really been taking from him over the last 5 years of my life. Play your hardest, play to the best of your ability. Don't worry about, what another person may look like compared to yourself, because effort fixes everything. Your technique might not be the best or it may not be perfect each play, but effort usually corrects all of that.
Where are you at, in terms of your journey here, and you're about to complete your 2nd year, right, of playing? What have you learned so far? How have you progressed, do you think?
I've learned that you have to be free in this game. You can't be stiff. You can't be scared to make plays or anything like that. You have to do what got you here, basically. In high school, we all played free. We were all the best in our town, city, whatever, school. And we just have to continue to play the same way. And that's how we usually remain our best.
Coming off that tough loss defensively, what has Coach Baker's message kind of been this week to kind of instill into y'all to bounce back this week at home?
And trust our eyes, play with effort and energy. I think energy is the main thing he's been talking about this week, and we definitely got it up. So we fixed that issue.
2 more. Got it. 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 2
season, defense, maybe gave up a little bit more than y'all are, used to. What's the vibe like maybe around y'all's team as a whole going into this A&M week?
Just got to do better. Every day we got to come with it, and just the whole team, we just got to make each other better.
With 5 games left in the season, what's kind of something you want to improve upon, whether individually or as a unit, with those games remaining?
The goal is still to go 1-0 every week. Just continue to grow and get better as a team, and just fix our mistakes.
What mistakes would you put upon that?
Defense that we ain't play like ourselves, we just got to do better as a unit. I can't really speak on the offense, I ain't on that side of the ball.
You guys did a good job against Lenore Sellers, the running quarterback. Not so much last week against Pavia, but you got Marcel Reed coming in, another runner. I mean, how do you guys learn from last week, doing a better job of containing a guy like this?
I would just say just pursue and just get them down when we got to get them down, and just hold our ground.
Where's the balance between, the urgency to make the playoff, can't lose another game, and then not put too much pressure on yourself?
I wouldn't say it's pressure. I would just say we just got to control and just fix the habits that we had, the bad habits that we had, and just play as a team and just strive. We'll see.
You obviously weren't on the team last year, but Marcel Reed came in the game and kind of changed that whole game. I mean, what do you have to do to prepare for him and what he does?
I would say just stop the run on his end, and he's a pretty good quarterback. He can throw as well, so just stop him.
How have you enjoyed LSU so far? Interception against South Carolina is a big play for you. What have you enjoyed so far about being here?
It's a brotherhood. I'm close with everybody on the team. It's like blood couldn't make us closer. I love them like my mama's son. So.
What has been kind of Coach Baker's message this week? Bouncing off his question earlier, wasn't the best performance from y'all, at least from your standards. What has kind of been his message to get you ready to go for a game here in Death Valley?
Really just continue to play how we used to play. Kind of like the Clemson game, we haven't been practicing the same, so I would just say just get back to our old habits and just tackle, pursue, yeah.
Fundamentals?
Yeah, fundamentals.
Yeah, your first loss, you had to kind of stew on it for 2 weeks, having the bye week, but, kind of going off of that focus, are y'all, forced to kind of go back to the basics, to focus, knowing, hey, we can't lose again, and we got a top 5 team coming in?
Definitely. It's been like that. I mean, we didn't want to lose in the first place.
Right.
I mean, we just know that we got to pick it up.
Trey'Dez, this last couple of weeks, you've kind of been the focal point of this offense, man. I mean, Nelson's went your way a lot. I mean, what's y'all's connection kind of been like from week 1 to now? And then, I mean, how are you taking, bigger role, other responsibility?
Just being the next man up. My name was called. I just was ready to come in and play.
What's something you, either personally or as a unit, kind of want to improve on with these last 5 games of the season?
Executing in the red zone, finishing out drives, being able to score. That's just been our whole focal point this week in practice.
What is the key to scoring in the red zone? Something you can share, or?
I mean, they executing whatever coach calls. So I mean, but of course, fade ball, but
Do you feel like you're just getting better and better? Do you feel like you're just scratching the surface?
Yeah, I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. I feel that I didn't hit my full potential yet. I still got some things that I could work on, and in the blocking world. So.
We saw a lot of fades to you. What was it like, to kind of catch the ball, be in the open field, and run it like you did the other day?
It was great. I just caught the ball. I didn't even know the Nets got the ball off. I just saw the ball and I caught it and ran for my life.
What do you apply? Is it when you're posting a guy up? Is it kind of like basketball?
Absolutely. I take my basketball traits and I use them on the football field. I use the box out drills. I use the rebound drills, lateral movements.
Still now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Building a little bit upon that, those type of situations where, whether it's in the end zone or those, what they would call 50-50 balls, do you feel like with your size advantage, physicality, it's more favored towards your way than a 50-50 ball?
I feel like it's more 75-25. I feel, but that's just my confidence.
So what's the overall mood of the team? You got 2 losses now. People say you got to run the table to make the playoff and so forth. I mean, how do you be urgent but not put too much pressure on yourself?
You know, we really try not to just listen to what the outsiders are saying. We really just try to go in and just get better day by day, want-to-know mentality.
What do you remember about Texas A&M last year, and what do you think about playing them this year?
They were very physical. I remember that. So we just got to bring it.
You're going to try to push you around, and you got to push back?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
It's like, second loss, but now you're right back in Tiger Stadium, big time matchup under the lights. I mean, does that help you guys kind of refocus?
Yeah, it helps us refocus. I mean, we got the best fans in the world. We come out, the energy is amazing. They help us win games.
Being back the last 2 weeks, what have you kind of seen from Garrett Nussmeier in those last 2 weeks, and kind of his development through that process, through the big win, and obviously last weekend to move himself into Death Valley this weekend?
He's getting better, man. That's all I can say. He's a great leader. He's helping us. He's helping his team get back to where it needs to be and to play complementary football.
I know you didn't get to watch it a ton while you're on the field, but Harlem Berry continues to break out, get a little bit more carries. You were a freshman on this team last year. What have you kind of seen from him?
He can go. That kid can go, man. I love him with all my heart. That's my little brother.
Good?
Yep. Thanks, Trey'Dez.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man. What's going on, Grant?
What's going on, man?
With an offense that's kind of struggling like LSU, what does that do for you? I mean, does that put a little bit more pressure on you knowing, hey, like, I got to pin them deep, we maybe play a field position game here?
Oh, yeah, I mean, every punt, I have the intention to, flip the field the best I can or pin them the best I can. But, I mean, then again, you never really know, regardless of how the other guys are performing. Last game we only punted twice. I've had games punted 7 times. So it's really, I mean, no matter who we're playing, no matter what the situation is, it's always, like, what's my assignment?
Right.
And what am I trying to do for that punt? And that's just my, my headspace there. It's always the same, so.
Talk a little bit about your development from fall camp to now, seeing the consistency with your punts has improved since then.
Yeah, I think I've always been, better in games. I think, I just kind of get in that game mode. A little bit more, taking care of my body a little bit better, recovery, and then just, technical and tactical things, just, staying shorter with my steps and, other things, with my form have been a huge part of my improvement. And then really just confidence, once you have a good game in an environment like this, it's easy to kind of just keep it rolling. So that was another big factor.
And developing upon that, is there anything that you want to personally improve on with the 5 games remaining on the schedule as we get towards the end of the year?
I'd say really from a tactical standpoint, really just hang time. That's a big factor. Help get more time for our guys to get down there, so we can bring that net punt up. Distance wise, I've been doing pretty solid on the year, but just want to get a little more hang time, get them down there. But other than that, I like where we're at, so I just want to keep building the consistency. Continue to do that for the next 5 games.
Growing up, like guys say, I want to be a quarterback or a wide receiver or a running back. How do you decide along the way? How do you become a punter?
Yeah, so I mean, really, I was more of a basketball player, soccer player. I kind of just played football because everyone does, and then my brother was actually a kicker, so started kicking field goals and punting my sophomore, junior year, and then ended up just being really talented out of nowhere, and so kind of just took off. And really, once you start getting attention from colleges, that's when you kind of make that decision, like, all right, like this is what I want to do. And then I just fell in love with it, and so now I don't see myself being in the other position, even if I was capable. So
yeah. And do you look at it as wow, this could be a great career, like
oh, for sure.
NFL, you can do it for 20 years.
Yeah, so I mean we have Brad Wing and Donnie Jones, 2 punters that both did in the NFL and here, and so we kind of talk about it. It's definitely something that I see in my future that I never really did. Growing up, like I never thought I'd be 1 in this position, but 2 just like punting football. So. But it definitely has become quickly something that I see myself pursuing.
You have your eyes on records and trying to break them here?
Not really. I mean, it's really like I was talking about. It's week to week. We have a game plan. My assignment, and so it's whatever that is I'm just trying to do that to the best of my ability to help the team, and hopefully that's something that'll come along. I think I have the talent, I have the the frame and the work ethic and what I do to be able to break records and number wise and all that, but really it's just week by week, what is my assignment, how can I do that to help the team be in a position where we can win in a conference that's so competitive. So
there hasn't been many this season, if any, but put me in the mind of a punter. When you have a bad punt or something goes wrong on a punt, kind of what does that do to you mentally when you're put back out on the field that next time?
Oh, it's really just you got to be short-minded. Same thing with the kicker. If you miss, tactically in the game, if I do have a bad punt location-wise, the first thing I'm doing is just screaming, left, right, middle, whatever. Let my guys know. But yeah, it's just you just got to wipe it and move on to the next one. It's really, even when you have a good punt, you can't let it get to your head. You can't, go out there with cockiness or anything like that. It's always about the next play. You're only as good as your next punt. So. It's just having a short mindset and just being able to flip the switch and get ready for the next one.
Earlier you were talking about if there's something you want to work on, it's improving your hang time. The average football fan may not know, what goes into that. So, what goes into the process of, I need to do this to improve on that?
Yeah. So, simplifying real quick, hang time is from the time it hits my foot to the time they catch it. And really the way to up that is to hit it higher. The higher it goes, the longer it'll be in the air. There's some other factors like spin on the ball and stuff, but really just that. Technically, if you stay a little shorter, stand a little taller, raise your drop a little higher, that's how you'll get the ball higher. So that's kind of like the simplified version of how I can, get more hang time. And then the second part of that is just to do it in game. It's so much different, when you're actually out there versus just being in practice. It starts with the snap, like how you handle that, to like your steps, and just controlling the environment. And so, really just taking a step to technically get where I need to be in practice, and then just be able to execute that mentally, on the stadium on Saturdays.
There's not many circumstances on the football field where you may have a guy flying at you trying to, in this case, block a punt. Did it take a long time of battling that mentally, knowing that you're going to be able to get this punt off without the guy, taking you out?
Yeah, so I talked about hang time, like operation time, the time from the snap to the kick. When we float in that area we need to be, which I'll just tell you right now, we're anywhere between 185 to 195. Anything less than 2 seconds, you're really not going to get blocked unless they're really trying to block it. But also, film doesn't lie. We watch these teams punt return, and sometimes they come after it. Some teams they never come after it. They have a good returner. They try to set up a return. So when I see that on film, I know I have a little more time to kind of handle it. And I just trust my training and trust my film, and don't think about holy crap, there's huge guys coming diving at the ball. So it's really that trusting the operation time that they would have to try really hard to get there in time. So
Obviously, you transferred in this season, and a minute ago you were talking about guys like Brad Wing and Donnie Jones. How much of that went into your decision to come here? Did you reach out to those guys?
Yeah, so I had no idea. Okay. I knew who they were. Right. Especially Brad. I actually grew up a Steelers fan, so Brad was kind of my childhood punter. But I had no idea they are around and hang out. I don't know if they did it last year too, or if it's a recent thing. But really just that decision was more based on kind of the conference I wanted to play at and the weather I wanted to play in. In that stage, not so much of that, but it's definitely been a privilege to have those guys in my ear, throughout the season, and even in practice with us, and even on the fields during games, or before games. So I didn't play a part in the decision because I didn't know that would be a factor, but it's definitely something I'm very grateful for.
As a punter, is there anything different than the average football player that you might have to do to kind of preserve that leg throughout the week as you get ready for a game?
Yeah, definitely. Kicking's a really unnatural motion. Most guys, if they're swinging their leg as hard as they can, they're going to get pretty sore. But it's just staying consistent in my recovery. I was just doing the water, and then treatment and rehab and all that. But it's definitely a little more taxing on my leg specifically. But as long as you do what you're supposed to, rehab treatment, you should be fine.
So like a basketball player says, I'm going to take 500 shots today.
Yeah.
Do you have I'm going to kick this amount of punts today?
Yeah, so I don't have a set kick count, but like I said, it's definitely, it's pretty taxing on your leg the more you do. So it's more just about, being valuable with my reps. No matter how many times I spin it to myself and kick it, the only thing that's really going to help me physically build confidence is my team reps. So, I'll get anywhere from 7 to maybe 12 a week. So it's really just how well I can prepare myself to do well in those. And then if I do well in those, I shut it off for the day. I don't go back to, our little kicker field and do more. I kind of just, rely on how quality my meaningful reps can be. So really just those, 7 to 15, however many it takes to get warm up. And then if those are good, I just call it for the day and, take care of my body. So
you do. Do punters and kickers still get playfully goofed on by their teammates?
Yeah, it's definitely it's one of those positions where it's you have one job, So if you don't do it, you're kind of the villain there. But as long as you're doing your job, I feel like punters and kickers are the easiest people to like and the easiest people to hate. So so far myself and Damien, we've been doing pretty well. So a lot of the guys, I'd say are pretty playful and good with us. That can change in an instant. So luckily we haven't experienced that this year. But yeah, we're kind of that either hero or villain kind of position. So. Awesome.
Thank you, guys.